Malignant cells question. Let's first understand the meaning of this sentence. Growth of malignant cells when occurring with simultaneously genetic damage cause cancer. So it's a relatively short sentence, and it's saying that when growth of malignant cells is happens along with the genetic damage, this leads to cancer. So it's presenting a simple fact that when two things happen together, that is when growth of malignant cells happens at the same time that the genetic damage happens, this leads to cancer. So the meaning is pretty clear. So now let's proceed to our error analysis. So this sentence only has one clause: growth of malignant cells when occurring with simultaneously genetic damage cause cancer. So notice that typically when you see the words such as when, where, it does prompt the presence of another clause. But here when simply is a modifier. So when occurring with simultaneously genetic damage. So from that standpoint, when is not followed by a clause. So this sentence only has one clause as shown. So let's figure out what the subject verb pair is. So growth of malignant cells cause cancer. So here growth is a singular subject, whereas cause is plural subject, a plural verb, and that's not correct. So we have subject verb number agreement error here. So notice that of malignant cells is in the prepositional phrase, so this cannot be the subject of this clause. So the subject is growth. Growth of what? Growth of malignant cells. So it's a singular subject, so it should be causes and not cause. Then let's look at from the modifier standpoint, when occurring with simultaneously genetic damage, this whole thing is actually modifying the verb cause cancer. It's basically providing the timing of when the cancer would be caused. So when growth of malignant cells happens at the same time as the genetic damage does, then this leads to cancer. So now let's look at simultaneously genetic damage. So here simultaneously is an adverb, and it's modifying genetic damage, which is a noun here. I mean, even though genetic is an adverb, but even though genetic is an adjective here, genetic damage together is a noun phrase. Okay, so it's modifying this noun phrase genetic damage. So even if it were supposed to modify genetic damage, it would have been incorrect, because you cannot use an adverb to modify a noun. So it should have been simultaneous genetic damage. However, in the context of this sentence, what you're really saying is that when growth of malignant cells happens at the same time as the genetic damage does, then it leads to cancer. So simultaneous actually should modify occurring. It should say that when growth of malignant cells happens simultaneously with the occurrence of genetic damage, then it leads to cancer. So simultaneous should be associated with occurring, and so these two should be together. So it should be growth of malignant cells when simultaneously occurring with genetic damage cause cancer. So that would have been causes cancer. So that would have been the correct sentence. So here simultaneously should be placed close to the verb that it modifies, and that verb is occurring here. That verb form is occurring. It's not the actual verb of the sentence, but it's an action. It represents an action. So it should have been simultaneously occurring. So those are the two errors in this sentence, and now we'll look at the answer choice analysis to find the correct answer. So choice A is incorrect for the reasons as we discussed. Let's read choice B. When they occur with simultaneous genetic damage cause cancer. So here, first of all, the pronoun they is ambiguous. I mean, they actually would refer to cells, because that's the only logical antecedent, but it doesn't make sense to say that growth of malignant cells when malignant cells occur with simultaneous genetic damage. What we're talking about is that the growth occurs simultaneously with the genetic damage. It's not that the cells occur with simultaneously with the genetic damage. So pronoun they is incorrect. Also, this also has the same errors Cause is incorrect here. It should have been causes, so you have that as an error here. Subject verb agreement error as in choice A. Then look at the word simultaneous. Now we have converted it from adverb to adjective, but here adjective doesn't make sense. What does simultaneous genetic damage mean? What we really intend to state is that when they occur simultaneously with the genetic damage. So simultaneously should be should associate with the action of occurrence. So this sentence is not correct because of these three errors. So let's mark this as well in red. Now let's look at choice C, when occurring with simultaneous genetic damage causes. So this also has the same error as choice B does. Simultaneous genetic damage is not correct. Subject verb agreement error is fine here. Then choice D, when occurring simultaneously with genetic damage causes. Now this is the correct answer. It corrects all the errors that choice A has, and it doesn't change the intended meaning. Then if they occur simultaneously with genetic damage causes. So again, this choice also has the same pronoun error. They refers to malignant cells, and that's not correct. That's not logical. So choice D is the correct answer.